Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for educations and technology. In this channel, we investigate the what, why, how of ancient Chinese culture and ancient Wing Chun culture. So, if you have watched my video yesterday on the three-dimensional strength or force handling, today is the second part of it. After you watch this second part, you will have a comprehensive view on the three-dimensional strength handling and the development needed. For this comprehensive view or concept of the three-dimensional force or strength handling, or sometimes it's called the multi-dimensional dynamic strength handling, what you know will be the same with all the grandmaster of the Chinese martial arts. Nobody get out from this domain of we cover in the last video and this video. They might be much more proficient than us, but we know what they know. So you ask me, are you so sure? Yes. Why? Because now we analyze it with science and physics, and we have already found a way to simulate it or emulate it. So everybody be able to know what it is. One, be able to experience it in the very minimum time. For those who want to develop it, one can continues on to develop it to get to high level of proficiency. And this entire thing is simply neuromuscular proficiency. It is a dynamic handling of the multi-dimensional strength or force, neuromuscular proficiency. Like me, I'm 60 something. I'm not going to fight in the ring. But because I train really lightly on this, I be able to handle the three-dimensional strength or force handling dynamically. Nobody needs to be the grandmaster of the world or the best fighter or the ultimate grandmaster. Everybody can develop this type of neuromuscular proficiency to handle the force which is needed. So here on, there is no more using your yi, not using your strength, or you want to stand your Yi Kamyongma with a straight spine, or clamping your knee, or you want to drive it up with your yi. None of those. Why? Because we are solving a handling of force in the 3D space dynamically. And seriously, if anybody want to face our friend like Xi Xiaodong in MMA, one better have this type of force handling developed. Because this is the basic. If one do not know this, well, it is a disaster. Because one will not be able to play with the strength of force in the multi-dimension dynamic. Because one simply do not have the neuromuscular connectivity synergy and never develop a neuromuscular handling proficiency. It is useless to keep talking about 站桩 or using your 丹田 or straighten your spine or lifting your hands. It is simply useless to talk about those 站桩, lifting and straighten spine stuff. Because in playing in the multi-dimension, it's like water. Didn't our uncle Bruce Lee say that flow like water, my friend? If your body cannot flow, if your strength or force cannot flow dynamically in this three-dimensional space, how the world are we going to flow? Sitting down there with a structure or 站桩, getting out from some kind of internal art guide, you expect that you'll be able to get those proficiency? Our friends Xi Xiaodong in MMA have proved again and again in past almost 4 years. It doesn't make sense. So I reveal this to you guys. It is this simple. It is not something you guess for an entire lifetime. It is something one need to know. Even one do not want to develop the proficiency of the neuromuscular. At least activate the part of the muscle so that one be able to live better. Every day one get less injury, one be able to walk better at old age. This is the real internal. Not those, oh, you use your 丹田 to 发劲. You use your qi and have no idea what it is. And thus, if one have no idea what it is, how can one teach other what it is? One can't even develop in one's body. And whether one develop this or not, the body show you the signature. The body will not be able to lie. So, yesterday, we talked about the three-dimensional, okay? So, review a little bit. Please watch my other video if you have not. So, you have an x-axis. X-axis this way. Y-axis this way. Z-axis this way. So, it is X, Y, Z, right? So today I'm using this, okay? Because this is a diagonal this way, so it represents one axis this way and one axis to the top. It applies force to you, okay? When you do this, that's what you can break down to one force in this axis and one in the top axis. You're adding another pull up like that. So in here, I pull this up. You see, I pull this up. So I have the X, Y, Z axis. Okay? Now I can handle or to change instantaneously, dynamically on the axis, which is more heavier, the X or the Y, by simply going up and down, changing this angle. Okay, this is physics. And we're keeping this Y-axis, insert, exit, or I can turn off this Y-axis. This is turn on, this is turn off. So when one train with this, okay, in all this direction, one is playing with the three-dimensional force. Okay, this is in the pulling side. I reverse it. This is in the pushing side. So, as I shared the other day, the entire body has to be dynamically adapt to my play. And that's only way that when people get close or get far, you can play with it in all dimensions, not just a straight line. So that's how Wing Chun be able to. So that's how Wing Chun be able to sense and applying inch power. Inch power meaning my body be able to do the three-dimensional dynamic force handling. I have the neuromuscular proficiency. Thus, any place be able to sense and be able to deliver force or handling strength. Now, yesterday I showed this. This is half part of it. Today, I like to share with you another half part. Well, why is it half part? Because the y-axis is only stretch out, expand out, right? Even though you have the x, y, the x, the z-axis you can change here, and then you can turn into here. You can, if you want, you can pull this one, put on the ground, hold it up tight, different height, but this is just expanding. So today, let's do a compressing. So instead of expanding, now I compress it. I compress it while I'm playing here. And with this simulator, right now I can compress it and play. I can compress it and play. I can expand it and play at any angle. At any angle. That is the full comprehensive, in the Chinese say, the Jing handling. That's how it is. That's how simple, how clear it is when we put it under science. So, that is the entire thing. So you don't need to get from 站桩, you don't need to get it from other things. Your 修炼头 set habit. And even people who do 站桩, most of them doing wrong. Why? Because if I do a 站桩 this way, okay? If I do a 站桩 this way, see hugging tree this way, I only have X and Y the most. I don't have the Z. This is our X, Y, Z. So where does in 修炼头, there is an example, obvious example that you can see this. Where is an example that you can see the expand and the compress while you apply force out there? Okay, in pulling way or in pushing way, expand or compress. Where? Which part of the 修炼头? Actually, everybody had it. But in the 1850s, Xu Ling Tao, it is this and this. This is expanding in the XYZ direction. This or this is this. So your expand and compress. Expand, with the strength there, okay, all the dimensional force. Expand and compress. It is in this section. That's why it never is like this. Why? Because if you go like this, you only the most have the X and Y direction. You miss up there. It's not this either. You only have X and Y direction. You don't have the Z direction. So it is this and this. So this is called opening, Kai. This is called He in Chinese. In the 1850s Xu Ling Tao in Chinese culture. Okay? So this is what it is. Now, make sure that we know. One need to know how to breathe and handling the 7 modes. Without that, how can the body is so developed, be able to handle this 6 directional force? Because you need every joint to be conditioned properly. You need to stand properly. That is why it never is a straight spine. It never is a structure like that. Because whenever you do a straight line, the most you can cover 2 dimensions, you still miss 1 dimension. This is the most is 1 direct x-axis, y-axis. This is just 1. This is even worse. Okay? This is just the most is 2. But then the body cannot go dynamic. What use is that to stand like that? It is not your dantian. If you never activate the neuromuscular connectivity and synergy of the entire body with the torque weight, one have no idea how to handle this. So a lot of demo today is like a 1 direction. I take force in 1 direction. 1 direction, I push back in 1 direction. Of course, you're using your student. Try to get Xi Xiaodong to do that. When the force of the MMA player come in with a 3-dimensional, can one take it or crush? So I often say, just look at the competition between Xi Xiaodong and Lei Lei, the Tai Chi guy. How come the Lei Lei who know all this Jing cannot take the trust of Xi Xiaodong? Now, speaking to here, why that Lei Lei in Tai Chi cannot handle the trust of Xi Xiaodong? Because this proficiency of handling force, he doesn't have a full handling. And also, there is another component called impulse momentum. He has no idea what it is. While our friend Xi Xiaodong have both training. How can you face somebody who had all this comprehensive training and the impulse momentum training? You can. So the legends of Qi, Jing, fly people away using Yi, not using strength, need to completely drop now. For those who like to really develop Wing Chun Keen and really care for the ancient Chinese culture and Wing Chun Keen. It is just that as what I show you. If you want to talk about Jing, if you never have your neuromuscular proficiency, you cannot do it. And neuromuscular proficiency means you have to connect your neuromuscular connectivity, pairing, synergy, and keep training it until you get the proficiency. The strength has to be keeping increasing, like lifting weight, more and more heavy strength. Only that one can get the proficiency. So this is what I'd like to share with you today. With this analysis and this simulator, anybody can emulate it, simulate it, repeat it. See, I'm not sharing things which is not being presented in the ancient. I'm also not sharing things which is cannot be proven by scientific. Why I need to do that? I need to present evidence so that it's not my creation. I need to present science, and I be able to do it, you be able to do it, and repeat it with quality. Only that way, it is meaningful. It is really to help a culture to grow, to resurrect a culture. Be it Chinese culture, Japanese culture, Jewish culture, we treat all the same because we are human. We love every race. Everybody is equal. We respect everybody. So that's how we do. Not fighting, as what I say again and again. What I'm presenting here is so that we know our culture. We human become better person. There's no race differentiations. There's no style differentiations. We based on science. We respect everybody's ancestors' teaching and everybody's culture's teaching. And we proceed with this to make everybody great. So here I already share with you what is the reality, what is the truth of traditional Chinese martial on this Jing, how to develop it. In today's language, sports science, neuromuscular proficiency. So let's not get into this Yi and using Yi, not using strength, internal force, and all kind of stuff. But when you get into the three-dimensional handling, because we don't know what it is, we are no can do. Keeping living in some kinds of dimension which is created by our own self. Now we need to face reality. Everybody is equal. And we need to be reasonable. Not bullying people, not put down people, but we need to correct things so that everybody is great. Only everybody is great. Wing Chun can be great again.